Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure. All right. Good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is my pleasure welcoming you all. I welcome the chief presenter, that is Professor Susan De-Guzman. She is joining us from Dubai this morning. We are also being joined by Dr. Mansoor Ali. I also welcome the children who have joined us from India. Thank you. First of all, let me take this opportunity to congratulate all those students who have joined us this morning. As we have just done with our 10th standard grade results, let me take this opportunity to congratulate you all. Thank you. Now, as we all know, we are done with the results. Now, the question that will be popping up in everyone's mind is, what next? I mean, the results or the exams weren't a bigger task. Now, the task which is in front of us is, where we heading next? So we've got plenty of opportunities, plenty of ways in front of us. We have to be very much diligent in choosing our way ahead. For that, we have planned this particular session to guide you through this particular path and to take you to the best of the ways. And today, we have been joined by Professor Susan De-Guzman. She happens to be the lecturer of Higher College of Technology from United Arab Emirates. We also have Dr. Mansoor Ali Khan joined with us today. So before we go into the speaker, let me take this opportunity to give you a brief about the organizer of this particular event, which is Western Ghats Institutions for Social Excellence. This happens to be a vibrant residential campus in Wayanad. So what do WISE stand for? Of course, this is actually aimed at lifting students to the best of the levels by providing a unique curriculum which is intended to shape the wise leaders of tomorrow, by providing regular school with a blend of life skill sessions. You also have the opportunity to meet the experts from different fields. This is indeed intended in providing the best of the skills that this new age demands. WISE is not limited to academics just. We also have sporting facilities to encourage students to participate in various extracurricular activities. We also have set up agricultural and animal husbandry sessions for you to engage and encourage the students to reach multiple levels, which is all aimed at providing a practical learning which will be relevant to your real life experiences. We also have a dedicated curriculum designed in learning Quran and moral studies, which is aimed at inculcating moral values in the students. We follow an integrated schooling system, which is from 7th grade to 10th. And 11th grade and 12th grade is, of course, designed with medical and engineering exams preparatory courses, which is all happening in a very beautiful campus, which is in Wayanad in Kerala. You get to avail every opportunities that we provide in enjoying the best of the greeneries in Wayanad. So we welcome you to discover your possibilities with us. This is in short what WISE is. With this, I request Dr. Mansoor Ali Khan to take over the stage. Thank you.
Excellent morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Most respected and enchanted personality and the guest speaker of today, my colleague to Professor Zul, Madam.
Yeah.
The organizers, including Mr. Mushtaq, the director of WISE, Brother Adil Salahi, the principal, and other members of WISE community. And moreover, actually, we have, as Mushtaq pointed out here, the future aspirants of various higher courses that will take the children to the next level in their life and career. Once again, congratulating all the winners in 10th Kerala syllabus examination. And I pray that you have a wonderful future ahead of you. I'm not taking much of time today. This is the maiden session of the bridge program or warm-up workshop that's being conducted by Western Ghats Institutions for Social Excellence. And as you know now, the children have various paths to get to the names and the colleges of the courses or for the courses they are aspiring for. But the thing is that still our children miss many things in terms of the proper guidance and support. The mentoring and the proper guidance are still missing as far as I'm concerned. In my experience, that's why. For bridging and eradicating these sort of shortcomings, WISE has set up a course like this, through which each and every student with various sort of dreams and aspirations, starting from science, technology, commerce, humanities, and again, social work, social service, and international, social work. There are many things and many new courses have been accepted now. So starting from each and everything, WISE has set up a course in which experts from various fields are taking part. And today, we all are blessed with the presence of the great, precious presence of Zul Madam, actually, who will be talking on the requirements and the prospects of higher education or for the higher studies and higher career levels of our children. So she's the official trainer, official mentor for Emirate Skills. She's been in the UAE for almost 2 decades now. Basically, she's from Philippines, but she has settled in the UAE, and her passion is basically on in terms of designing, creative skills, online education, and all these things. So with all pleasure and happiness and proudness too, this is my time to welcome Professor Zhu Madam to lead her session. Thank you, ma'am. All the
All right, thank you very much for that, Dr. Mansour. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Susan Villanueva De-Guzman, and I'd like to talk about a lot of different things as an educator, and at the same time, as a person who has industry experience. Okay, so let me introduce myself first. I've been here in the UAE for almost maybe 27 years, so it's quite a bit a long time. My children were still very small when we moved in here. My daughter was 2 years old, and now she's a jewelry designer. She's also teaching. She came back in here. She studied in Canada, and my eldest is an animator. And he's actually involved in high-end level of online content development. All right, so what I would like to share to all of you is what I do, and I'll give you a little bit of advice on how to choose your path, how to choose your career, how to choose your program of discipline. All right, so first of all, I would like to say good morning from the United Arab Emirates to all the students who are currently here with us. All right, to the parents, if we have parents in here, educators, administrators, and of course, the people behind these organization delivering all these help to the current students we have right now. All right, so first of all, I'd like to congratulate all of you, and for those students who successfully passed the exams that you have, congratulations. All right, so let me tell you what I do. All right, I have a very exciting career. I am an educator, but I'm also a contemporary artist. All right, so I can actually give you an advice later on, not now, but I can have a separate session only on creative career. All right, so but what I'm going to talk today is about the general things and how we choose our career. So I'd like the parents to understand this as well and to listen carefully of what I'm going to share to all of you. For me, it was, I can't say that it was difficult, no. It was, for me, choosing my career was there from the very beginning of my life, okay? So when I moved to the UAE, I started as an advertising manager for a company in Abu Dhabi for about maybe a year. And then I moved to the higher colleges of technology. I was involved in developing course materials for students. We order a lot of books in different parts of the world, and we localize them to suit the culture and the religion, because a lot of the books sometimes are not really good examples for, some of the examples are not really very good for our students, so we localize them. The country has spent a lot of effort, time, and money investment on education so that they can educate the young nationals in here. Similarly, in your country, you're very lucky because you have these kind of programs who will guide the students on how to choose the right career for themselves. Now you're moving from, you're now in the upper level of your, what you call the studies. It is very important to really think of what you want to do. All right, so let me tell you a little background before I came in here. Both my parents are doctors, so they wanted me to be a doctor. And because during my time, parents would really force what they want, okay? But at a very young age, maybe when I was born, I wanted really to be an artist. And so I really fought for it. I said, I can't be in the medical field because this is not my line of interest. I'm not passionate about it. I don't even understand it, anything about the sciences and mathematics, I was struggling with it because that was not the line of work I wanted to do. And I think, and then I've chosen to be in the art field. All right. So right now, it's been about almost 25 years that I've been a lecturer in different universities, but I stayed for quite a bit long time in the higher colleges of technology. The higher colleges of technology provides a lot of different learning and education for the faculty members. So we are learning nonstop. And similarly, whatever we are learning, we cascade it to our students. Now, being an artist, it was a bit challenging. I don't want to say it was difficult. I tell you why later on. It was a bit challenging because both my parents are in the medical field. They don't understand me. So I think you can see around, the work I do. I'm a contemporary artist. So I would like to discuss about art later on, not now. Maybe if you have separate sessions on that, I would be happy to really advise the students who would like to pursue in the creative field. All right. So for 21 years of my life teaching in here, teaching nationals, I've mentored hundreds and hundreds of students, maybe thousands now, because I've been with the higher colleges of technology for 25 years. 4 years of my life was developing content materials for students. And then I moved to the teaching field. And from that time until now, I'm still teaching. I do as well. I'm the mentor for the work placement. We do place our students for not really training, but to actually be a part of the industry to check whether they are ready for the workforce. Is it the right career that they have chosen? So part of my work this summer is to mentor our students. All right. So another thing that we're doing right now, and we will be with India as well. All right. We will be competing in the World Skills Asia, and one of our guest member for the World Skills Asia is India. So we will be competing with the competitors as well from India. So anyway, I would like to start my lecture, but what I'd like to do, I'll switch off the video that I have right now so that I can actually deliver what I need to deliver without any interruptions on the network. All right. So I would like the students to be a part of my presentation. And what I'd like to do is, I'd like the students, when I ask questions, I would like to hear the students, answering some of the questions. All right. So, okay. So let me share my screen to all of you. Hold on for a second. Let me just put my password in here because my network is asking me to. All right, so I would like as well the parents to be part of these, the administrator and whoever, the students as well. I would like to ask questions after my presentation and feel free to ask. Okay, so what I'd like to share to you is what is the future that we need to prepare our students, our children, all right, to how they would choose their career. All right, so hold on for a second. All right, so let me start with a quote that find what you're good at and become excellent at it and pursue opportunities where those skills are in demand. All right. So all of us by this time, or the students who are now moving to the upper level of their education, it is the now that you need to look at, what am I good at? What do I really want to do? And not only that, my dear students, you need to ask, how can I help my country? That's very, very important. So when you plan, it's not only pursuing your dreams, but always consider, what can I do to be great and good so that I can communicate to my country, to my community, to my family? These are a couple of things that you always need to answer. All right. So that's very, very important. Okay. So let me start with the word passion. All right. You start with passion. What am I passionate about? I have different quotes later on about passion, and I'm going to share that to all of you. And I would like to make sure that you understand what I mean by passion. All right. So this is very important. That's a magic word when you choose your career. Now let's look at the 30 jobs which will be in demand in the coming years. All right. So the top professions in here, I did not arrange this according to like specification on science, like for example, the ones who will be going into science and mathematics, for example, for humanities or business. All right. So these are the random part of the survey that will be top work that will be coming and will be profitable as well for your career. And that has a lot of professional advancement. So if you can see in here, we have the VR and AR. I will be defining some of it. You know, I took some samples that I can actually share. All right. So we have what we call the VR and AR architect. And some of you who would like to be in this kind of field, you know exactly what you want to do, but I will explain that further. We also have the neural interface designer, bioethics, e-commerce and marketing, environment and resource manager. So you see, the kind of title that is coming in for your career is entirely different now. Before we can say, for example, accounting. All right, now there, right now the specification is very specific. So you need to find where you need to be, because it is very important that you are in the right program, you know, before you enroll. The right program for you, what you're passionate about, which you're interested in, and you have your skill that you want to develop. All right. So we have the e-commerce manager, environment and resource manager, cybersecurity expert, media police. You see, these are not the jobs that I used to hear when I was studying. Aerospace infrastructure developer, trend watcher. What are those? Okay, we have the influencer. I guess the young generation, you know it very well what we mean by influencer, which is very current. I have some examples of that. We have also 3D printing expert, UX designer, that would be for the web, for example, data scientist. What are those? We never had these words when I was studying, and these are the new career that is upcoming right now. Supply chain manager, content creator, which is part of the influencer, which is a web career, you know, web specialization. We have senior manager. Senior manager is open to many different things. It could be you're a senior manager in the science field or in the creative field. You are a senior manager in the business field. All right. Developer is one of the biggest career that has a lot of market, because every day an app is being uploaded and being used by individuals. Creatives, of course, always the creative people will always be there, because whether you are presenting science, bioethics, aero, you need the help of people who are in the creative field. So you work hand in hand with all the many different specialization. We also have what we call biotechnologist, virtual personal assistant. Before, your personal assistant is just beside you, but this time it's virtual. Now, being a virtual assistant, you can work in 3 or 4 different um, companies, you know, because the World Wide Web has opened it globally. All right. So some of you would like to be in that kind of career. We have the CEO specialist, SEO or SEO specialist. This is for the web. And we never had the specialization. This is a very new specialization that is actually current. And right now, the millennials, most of them, they just adapt it like anything, you know, because I think each of our child who were born in the 1980s and onwards, they were born with certain knowledge already. All right. We have also, imagine we have online psychologists. We never had those. So personal finance manager. All right. We have a computer system analyst. We have, of course, mechanical engineering specialist. Mechanical will be very uh, part of the development of anyone's country, all right, because they help in making things move or realize, like the factories. For example, the mechanical engineers will be, that's only a small part of what they can do. They can do a lot more. Then we have also the registered nurse. Of course, there will always be nurses that will be required, and nanotechnology engineer. So these are for the robotics and things that we move, we try, like for example in the factories, we create robots to build our cars. All right, so these are a couple of just the 30 jobs that would be upcoming. um, of course, the other things will be as well there, like the medical field, doctors, they will always be there. All right. We will never run out of place and space for our doctors. All right. As you know, in our current situation right now, we will be, or we need a lot of doctors, nurses, or who are in the medical field. Scientists will always be there. But what I'm presenting to you are the kind of new jobs that are or will be required in the future. All right. So by the time you graduate in the university, you will be a lot needed in the industry. So make the wise decision that you want. All right. So in here, again, I will repeat, make the right choice. All right. When we are making the right choice, all the educational institution in your country should provide support for the students. All right. Because a lot of the students, or some of them, are a little bit lost, but some students, they know exactly what they want to do. All right. So when you're making the right choice, it's important that you do your research, you explore, all right, so that you know exactly what you want to do. But making the right choice does not only necessarily mean this is what I want to do because I want to make money. Not only that, you don't only consider money, a lot of different things. All right. So that's very important that you understand what you want to do in the future. Making the right choice would involve the parents as well, not to choose for their children, but be able to guide them. All right, that's our role as parents. For the school administrator, we need to always support students. We need to guide them for them to see what they are good at and what they can do in the future. Because sometimes the students are a bit lost. Okay, so let's look at a career in creative, for example. Creativity is always admired, of course, all around you. If you look at, for example, if you are in the shopping mall, you look around, everything is creative. You have posters, you have a lot of different things. You have the newspaper, magazines. These are the work of the creative people. All right. So if you are in this area, creativity is always admired, of course, not only in a specific field like fashion, not but also in every field which is innovative, that launches product and services. All right. So why I have started with creatives or being creative, whatever degree that you will be choosing or planning, whether you want to be in the medical field, you want to be in the science field, like you want to be a scientist, or you want to be in the engineering field, or you want to be in the business field. All right. Creativity is very important, not about allowing yourself to, oh, I need to be if I'm going to choose business, I need to be creative, that I can draw, I can color. No, not like that. You need to be able to come up with creative ideas how to run your business. In the medical field, it is the same, So it is very important to understand what is the work of the creatives. We look at the biotechnologies. These are about the businesses that builds or creates medicine for us, pharmaceutical, for example. Biotechnologies is a profession which is mostly used in pharmaceutical, chemical, food, cosmetic industry, meaning these are the people who are continuously inventing things, experimenting what can be used by the industry. In this particular job, mostly the product is improvised or a new product is created. Always, for example, let's look at cosmetics. All right. If we look at cosmetics, every day a certain product is introduced, even food, chemicals, pharmaceuticals. Each day we have new kind of medicine that is being introduced in the market. If you are a person who would like to be involved in biotechnologies, why not? All right. So let's look at the virtual assistant. All right. The virtual assistant is an sort of an online business that can only be successful with the help of the assistant. For example, some of you would like to pursue a business career, all right, but business online, all right. So, having said that, you will hire your virtual personal assistant, all right. That's very important because the virtual personal assistant will create all the timetable for you, the meeting, and anything that the business would need, the virtual personal assistant can do it. Okay. So normally they help in the daily assessment of work, and the assistant should be flexible and able to work from home. All right. Therefore, a virtual assistant is capable of doing administrative things. All right. That's important that you understand what entails in, to do all this work. Okay. When you are a virtual assistant, you can actually work for several companies and preparing all their timetable for the day and for the week, for the month, all right, or for a year to support the business, all right, the online business. Let's look at aero infrastructure developer. This is very important. Now, I would like to commend your country, but in any part of the specialization globally, there is someone from your country who's a part of it, all right? So for being an astronaut, for example, or in the creative field, the programmers of Adobe, some of them are from India. So any kind of career, we have specialists from your country, and you should give a path on your shoulder. I am happy that I am from this country where I can also contribute whatever I can do for my country. All right, so let's talk about the aero infrastructure developer. Many experts are engaged in the development of various aircraft, okay? It could be a vehicle that could fly here and there, airplanes, etc., whatever that deals with the aerospace. All right, it could be the rockets as well that goes to the space. All right, so these direction can change the logistics industry. This business was already in demand in the market because now many startups are also working in this direction. So I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. So I have also, okay, let's look at influencer, which is an in thing right now. A lot of the social media influencers, they are working from home, they travel here and there, but they're earning money. Okay. What does it do? Now, some of you, you're okay with, showing yourself on camera, or you love to talk, talk to people. Maybe this is a skill that you have, that you have the special skill. You can be an influencer. Now, in being an influencer, there is a bachelor's degree as well for this. For example, digital marketing, bachelor's degree specializing. It could be under business or marketing. and specializing in digital marketing. So in the digital marketing, you will have influencers in there. There are courses that you will be studying on how to be an influencer. The influencer creates attention, okay, grabbing content, just like a content creator. All right. So if you're an influencer, you need to be able to write. All right. It could be in your language. It could be in English. It could be in other languages. All right. That you are good at. It can be anything from fashion to technology. All right. Influencer upload content on their accounts on platforms like Instagram, for example. Of course, you know that very well. YouTube, Twitter, and other social media identity of a particular category in which that they can upload content. All right. Company sells content to influencers to promote their new products and services. All right. So being an influencer, do you know? I will tell you because I used to teach, or I am still teaching. Yeah, I'm teaching social media, for example, but I'm teaching more of the creative aspect of social media. But I'm going to tell you, for example, you have 100,000 followers as an influencer. For example, you're an influencer for a fashion industry. You have 100,000 followers. Do you know an influencer, if you post one posting for a company that you are actually giving your services to, one post is paid $750, just one post. If you have 50,000 followers, the company would pay you $350. It's a lot of money. Imagine it's only one posting. If you have 10, 15, or 20 companies that you are the influencer for different product lines, for example, you will be earning a lot of money. All right, so let's stop in that. I took 5 examples of what and how these careers are, all right, in the modern um, world, or right now, what is happening with all the changes. Even though we have the pandemic, nothing stopped. As I could see, your country is helping the students and the parents to choose the right career. So let's look at how do we find the right career? All right. So for those of you who are actually contemplating, where should I go? What kind of specialization should I do? So maybe this one, what I'm going to play, and this is a video, I would like you to see this so that you can have little pointers that you can get out of it. All right, so.
When we are little, we are often asked the question, what do you want to be when you grow older? And as a child, the answer is usually something like an astronaut or a firefighter. Still, when it's time to make that decision in your late teens or even adult years, it can be extremely hard to find the answer. To help you come to the right conclusion and avoid a life slumped over a desk, here's 7 steps that you should follow when trying to find your ideal career path. Number 1, make a list of your hobbies. To enjoy what you do for the majority of the day, it's essential to find a job that you love. So the best place to start is with your hobbies. What are you passionate about? What would make you get out of bed on a cold, wintry morning to go to work? While your passion might not be your forte, it's a good starting point to help you figure out what career you want to pursue. Number 2, discover what you're good at. What you enjoy and what you're good at can be 2 very different things. For example, you might enjoy dancing, but you're actually really good at organizing. So a job as an event planner, office manager, or personal assistant may be a sensible choice. As well as listing your hobbies, create a second list of skills that you possess. Number 3, identify your personality traits. In order to find the right career fit, you're going to need to take a closer look at your personality traits. While you might be a gifted singer, your introverted personality might not let you succeed in this field because you're too anxious to stand on stage in front of people. Therefore, it's important to identify and take into consideration your personality traits when it comes to your career path. It can often be confusing to figure out, So, a state of the art career test, like our own test, Career Hunter, can help you discover your most suited professions using scientific data and testing. To try it out for free, check out the link in the description below. Number 4, determine what you want out of a career. It's also necessary to identify what it is that you want out of a career. Do you want to receive a high salary, have a respectable job title, or simply work for a cause that you care about? By answering these questions, you can narrow down what types of roles you'd be interested in working towards and find the path to success. Number 5, talk to industry experts. Once you've narrowed down a handful of careers, talk to industry experts and find out more about the job and industry as a whole. They will offer insight into the day-to-day practices, working hours, progression, and further opportunities, which will help you get a clearer understanding of that career. Number 6, research the job market. Besides talking to career experts, you should also research the job market and see whether there are opportunities in this field, or whether it's a career that you'll struggle to secure. You also need to determine whether the role you're interested in has the potential for career progression. Otherwise, you will get bored working in the same position for years on end. Number 7, discover your core values. Lastly, identify what your core values are and use them to find a career that is fulfilling for you. Make a list of qualities that are important to you and identify companies who have the same core beliefs. This will help you narrow down your search and discover industries that you would be a good match for. As you can see, it's not that difficult to find the right career when you have a good way of identifying your interests and strengths. Looking for more advice? Head over to careeraddict.com for additional opportunities.
All right, so those are 7 ways of actually understanding how you actually choose your career. All right, so in here, I'll summarize it. First, you need to have a self-evaluation. You need to know, what do I really want to do? All right. Now, all of these questions are very important. It should be you should be able to identify, what are you passionate about? The key here is passion. What are you passionate about? Make a list of jobs to explore, all right? Because now you are in the upper level of your education, it is very important that you choose what you want to do. Research jobs and employers. It's very important, all right? Explore the job market. You need to look at, all right, is this a requirement of the job market? It's not only like, oh, my friend is going into the science field, I would like to be with my friend. Or I would like to be in the creative field because my best friend is there. This is not how we choose our career, all right? You need to know all the little pointers that were presented to you. And at the same time, while you are in the maybe last 2 to 3 years of your high school life, it is important that you continue and grow and keep learning. How do you learn? Keep reading, keep looking at current events, keep looking at what is the current job that is being required in the market. It's important that you explore so that you understand what you're getting into. Let's look at a quote about passion, all right? You have to be burning with an idea, all right, or a problem, or a wrong thing that you want to make it right. If you're not passionate enough from the start, you will never stick to it, okay? Or stick out. This is from Steve Jobs, who was part of the creation of the Apple computers. And yes, it's very important. Now, for me, I'm going to share to you a couple of things. For me, as an artist or as a designer, I actually work long hours. If I'm not passionate of what I do, I won't be able to finish anything. Sometimes I'm being asked to design, one of the biggest projects that I have handled. I was asked to put graphics in an 86 meters wall with a 7.5 meters height. It is not easy at all. It is very important that you are passionate so that you will find yourself in the right career and the right course that you want to do in the future. Okay. Another thing, one thing that any of you should think about, whatever course that you need to do, innovation is the name of the game. The only way to discover the limits of possible is to go beyond them into the impossible. Yes, it is not about, this is what I always remembered what my father used to say. If you want to be good in your work, deliver your work with excellence all the time. If you're creating a piece of work and you've not tried your best to do it in a more innovative way, forget it. So if you're given a piece of paper, all right, you have no idea what to do with it, all right, and an employer tells you, do something with that paper, all right, so you need to think, how can I be innovative? What are the ways to use this paper in an innovative way? Whatever you do, innovation is the current requirement of the industry. If you want to do something that is already existing, you're not innovating, this is not the way to go. In the current times, your generation, a lot of the young generation are very competitive. Like for example, right now I'm studying because I'm preparing for my further studies for my PhD. When I'm given an assignment, I just don't make an assignment. I just don't type it. I present it in a different, innovative way, and maybe breaking the rules in writing proposals. But it's because I want to find myself in ways that I can innovate, how I can change how people think. All right. Then I would like you to always think of three things: passion, innovation, and of course, you dream what you want to be. You have all the reason in the world to achieve your grandest dream. Imagination plus innovation equals realization. Remember these. Dream big. It's not bad to dream big. The current generation right now, the young generation right now, meaning all of you, you're very lucky. Surely your parents are giving you all the best that you can have for your studies. Just remember and imagine many years back when I was studying, we never had opportunities to use computers. We don't have the online, all right? But for all of you, you can do your research globally. You can find yourself anywhere you want to be because you have the resources. Your parents are providing you with everything. So, what is your role in your situation right now as a high school student graduating and moving later on to the university? This is the time. This is the time that you dream of how you want to be. I want to share to you what I have done in my childhood life because my parents never allowed me to really paint, to do art. So I used to do art. Sometimes I am locked up in my room, in the washroom. I tried to hide it because my parents couldn't understand the art that I would want to be later on. All right. But I never stopped. I didn't have paint brushes. I was using my fingers to create my drawing, my painting, but I did not stop. Even while I was young, I was dreaming to be an artist, that I could share my art, visual arts around the world, bring message to people, bring history alive through art. And I fought for it. Now I can tell you I'm happy with what I have taken as a step for my own dream. I never dreamed of traveling the world, but because I've chosen what I like to do, I've chosen what I'm passionate about. In anything I was doing in my life, I always think of innovation. you can do that too, because you have more resources that I had when I was studying. You have, I mean, we didn't have the school administrators thinking of guiding us what we want to do in the future. It's basically you yourself, you know, or sometimes a lot of the decisions during my time were taken by parents. But nowadays, parents are more open. Now I'm a parent as well. We don't choose the career for our children. As parents, we are there to just guide them when they need. We are not there to tell them, this is what you need to do because you will earn money a lot more. If they're lost, guide them. If they need your help, surely advise them. But do not choose the world, the work, the dream that they want to be. We're there to support them. Thank you very much. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer. So I would like to hear some of the students who are currently in here. I would like to hear you. I'd like you to tell me what you're passionate about. All right, so if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer. Anyone who would like to ask questions?
Hello, dear participants. I believe if you have any sort of questions with regards to your, say, subjects or the subject that Professor Zhu have delivered to us, you can probably ask, turn on your mic and ask.
Yes, please. Don't hesitate. You have to remember, you know, all questions are good questions. Okay. So let us see if you are looking at, you know, or you're actually thinking of your future already, because it's very important when you step into, you know, grade 9, grade 10, 11, and 12. You know, these are the time that you need to really concentrate on what you want to do in the future. So any questions? Yeah, you can unmute, please, if you want to. Yes, Amin, go ahead. And somebody was, where's Amin? Did I pronounce your name properly?
Yeah,
Raised-
Amin, are you
I
there?
think- yeah, I think she raised her hand. Let us see who will ask first. Either the girls or the boys. Let us see. Please don't hesitate to ask. This is your opportunity, you know, to ask questions. Don't be shy. Maybe you can ask question using your language, and probably somebody could translate it for me. If you know, if you're feeling shy to talk, I would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
happy to answer. Yeah.
for sure. ആർക്കെങ്കിലും എന്തെങ്കിലും ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഉണ്ടോ നമ്മുടെ സെഷനിൽ പാർട്ടിസിപ്പേറ്റ് ആർക്കെങ്കിലും എന്തെങ്കിലും ഡൗട്ട്സ് ഉണ്ടോ ഇപ്പൊ നേരത്തെ മാം പറഞ്ഞ വിഷയങ്ങളിൽ? I guess there is a question in the chat box.
All right. Yes. Okay, Nabil, thank you so much for your question. Does all field have possibilities for the jobs in the future? Of course. Thank you for that. That's a very, very clever question. So let me answer that. Okay. I will answer that based on my experience. It's not based on theories, all right, or scientific statement. What I will answer that based from my experience. So, if you want to have a good career, all right, first of all, do a lot of reading. Second, choose a career that you are passionate about, all right. At the same time, a career that you can mix it with you know, a combination of your skill. Let me tell you what. I'll give you an example. I am an artist. I'm also a designer. I'm also an educator. However, I mean, those three skills that I have, teaching, for example, delivering information to students, being an artist, and being a designer, I can make my course materials creative. I can make my presentation creative, you know, so you combine those skills so that you can have more possibilities in the future. All right. As I say, be innovative in what you want to do. All right. So yes, sure, I'll do that. All right. So my video is on.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So any other questions? So please don't hesitate. If you don't want to to ask questions by unmuting your microphone, you can always surely ask questions using the chat room. Who are the parents in here, by the way? Who are the parents? I'd like to talk to the parents.
Ma'am, it is only a session designed for the students. There are no
For the students. Okay. All right. Yeah, because, okay. So selecting the right career and specialization for yourself is very important. Now, it is, to be honest, you're very, very lucky because during my time, we had sets of courses that we really need to go to because that's the requirement of the Ministry of Education. But now there are different strands that you can actually specialize on. Because when you move to grade 10, 11, and 12, like for example, you are in the science field, you'll be able to test whether that's for you. You know what I mean? In the high school itself, you'll be able to really pinpoint, oh, I'm not good at science. Maybe I would be good in business. So you move to that specialization, you know. So when you move to the college level, it will be a lot easier. You move to the university, it will be a lot easier. So yes, okay, yeah, please feel free to ask. Don't hesitate. I'm here to answer questions. I have mentored a lot of students, you know, so I would love, it's not about, I'm not only mentoring students in the same field that I have, but you know, I mentored a lot of students even in different fields. All right, so any other questions?
Dear children, Professor Zoo യഥാർത്ഥത്തിൽ യു എയിലുള്ള ഹയർ കോളേജ് ഓഫ് ടെക്നോളജി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ സ്ഥാപനത്തിലെ പ്രൊഫസറാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇതുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് ഇപ്പം നിങ്ങൾ നേരത്തെ മാഡം പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്ത വിഷയങ്ങളോ, അതായത് കരിയറായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടതോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങളുടെ സബ്ജക്ട് ഓറിയന്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള എന്തെങ്കിലും ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ചോദിക്കാം. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഒന്നുകിൽ മൈക്ക് ഓൺ ചെയ്ത് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ റൈസ് ചെയ്യാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സ് ഉപയോഗിക്കാം. മലയാളത്തിലും ചോദിക്കാം.
Yes, please. Yeah, you can say your question in Malayalam, right? Is that right?
That's true.
Okay, yeah, so that can be translated to me. Please don't hesitate. The first question was very good. Yeah. Okay, let me ask a question if you don't want to ask a question.
Okay.
Who among you in here who's attending the presentation, have you thought already of what you want to do? Let me see, can I call names? Yeah? All right, let me say Amal. Have you thought of what you want to do? What specialization you want to do for your high school so that you're well prepared for the university, your college and university life?
Amal കേട്ടിരുന്നല്ലേ? Question കേട്ടിരുന്നോ Amal?
Don't be shy. Remember, I'm an educator.
Okay.
Don't be shy, believe me. Anyone else? If Amal doesn't want to talk, or maybe Nabil, who asked the question. Nabil, have you thought about what you want to do later on? What are you good at, for example?
Yeah, he have said yes in the chat box.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry, I did not look at it.
So what
Okay.
was it, Nabil?
So Nabil, what kind of career do you want to have later on? Let me see. You're a very young dreamer, very good. You're excellent. So if you have chosen your career, what would it be? What line? Hey, that's great. Welcome. So to the organizers, this is my summer. I am not traveling because of the current situation right now. I would be happy to have a session only on the creative and arts and media. I can provide you know, how to choose the specialization in media. So I can have a session on that. So
Thank you so much for that proposition. Thank you.
okay. Anyone else? Let me see. Let me call names. Okay, we have Nabil who answered. Thank you so much, Nabil. I mean, I wish you good luck. But trust me, that's a very interesting career. Okay. How about Saria? Have you chosen? Could you give me about data science? Okay. Oh, artificial intelligence. Yes, the data science is, you know, in the past, I used to say, when we say scientists, for example, data scientists, we always think about the word scientists. These are the people who are in the lab, you know, experimenting, doing solutions for the world. Okay. The data science is part of the marketing. You know, for example, you analyze data, and that's one of the well-paid career right now, you know, um, around the world. You can work from your home when you analyze data, for example. That's the work of my sister. She's part of the business intelligence of one of the oil companies here in the UAE. She does all the um, analysis of science, I mean, the data, sorry. And for the AI, that is the future. That is the future, because the AI could come into education, to science, to engineering. And in the university right now, in here, we are implementing the artificial intelligence, you know, we're part of the studies that the students are learning. I'm in the creative field, so I am in the applied media. Our specializations are three right now. Like we have the corporate communication, we have the graphic design, and we have the video production. So, but there's still a lot more in the creatives, you know. So we have animation and other things. Let me see, what are the other questions?
I guess, yeah, there is
Okay.
another student who have raised hand. Maimoon?
Oh yeah, carry on. What do you, Mahmoud? Okay. Yeah, what is your question? Unmute your microphone, please.
Maimoon?
Yeah, she raised her hand. And maybe, can you unmute your microphone? I don't know if maybe she's talking and
Maimoon, question ചോദിക്കാം. Maimoon.
I like the photograph in your screen. A nice car. Beautiful, nice car. Okay, could you tell us about the web development and each of the, okay. All right. Now, let me tell you, when we say web development, a lot of people would like to be a web designer or web developer, right? And some of them, they learn it, you know, by on their own. You know, we have a lot of the YouTube, what you call this, training materials, but it's not enough. All right. So if you want to be a web developer, you need to specialize. What kind of things would I want to specialize in? Do I do programming itself? Do I do data entry only? Or do I specialize on user interface? That's one of the work that my son is doing. He's called by different production houses to do UI, you know, user interface. That's very important, you know, as part of the web development. So when you talk about web development, normally you are to yourself, you don't really transact business with people, because these are the people behind the screen. I used to develop a lot of website, but my part was on the creative side. When we say web development, that's more deeper, because you do a lot of programming, database programming, and you can work in any parts of the world. This is a kind of career when you're good at, you know your work very well. For example, you want to go and spend vacation in another part of the world. You want to go to, for example, in one of the resorts, for example. You are having your vacation at the same time you're working. You can work in any parts of the world. You don't need to be in one place. That's one thing that I could say to you, especially now with the pandemic. The world became closer through, Zoom, for example. We have a lot of the different apps that we use to communicate. So you can work in any parts of the world. How can you be different from others? All right. How can you be different from others is when you deliver your work uh, in a different way. For example, you're innovative in your work. You're tuned into the current latest technology, because we web development. You close your eyes, you sleep, you rest for 2 days, have a vacation for 5 days. The minute you come back, it's totally different. There is another thing that they have introduced. Okay, so that's also a very good career, because why? Let me tell you, the online development right now is needed because of the current situation we have, and we will not go back to the previous life we have. A lot of the work that we can do can be delivered online. As a web developer, you can develop shopping malls online, for example, a digital school, what else? A digital fashion show, for example. There's so many things that you can develop. All right. It's not just developing a website. Now, if you see the website before, it's static, no animation, nothing, no video, it's just information. Nowadays, you can scroll it upwards, you can scroll it, you know, um, either horizontally or vertically. So you see, because that's the innovation that came in for the web development. Any other question? Ooh, okay. Any other question? All the career that you have in here, the UX and UC, these are badly needed by the industry right now. I tell you what, when I actually did my research to do my master's, I I did my research for a year. All right, a year. What is the specialization that I would not like to do? All right. So when I was actually thinking, doing all my research, as a young person, long time ago, I was having this vision that schooling will be different. You know, exhibition will be online, galleries can open online, museums can be accessed online, you can have tours. I don't know from which thinking where I got it, but this is what I was thinking about. So when I took my master's in Australia, and I took education, but it's not just education. I specialize in online and distance learning. So from the year 2000, no, I think from the year 1999 up to now, I was doing online. I had the love of developing contents because I have my graphic design skill. I can also develop things on the web, but more on the creative side, not what you want. That's a little bit deeper. And my colleagues used to tell me, I don't think they will continue with your contract because your master's is different from your undergrad. My undergrad was fine arts, so that's what I use in teaching. I took education because I wanted to be a better teacher. At the same time, I have this vision that later on education will be online. All right. So all my colleagues were telling me, "Oh, Susan, you should take another course. You should take another specialization so that you can maintain your career with us in the higher colleges of technology." Last year, they said, "We have one day to move into online." We were all asked to stay at home, deliver our courses at home. I was happy. That was the realization of my career. But having said that, many years ago, I've been doing online because I'm being sent by the UAE to different countries to represent the UAE as part of the delegate for the World Skills competition. But my students, even if I was not in the classroom, they know I am there. Why? All my courses were online. All the things that they need to do is online. So by the time I come back to the country, they're not late. They're on time with all the assessments and all the submissions. Why? Because all my courses were online. So this is how you plan. You need to have a skill and the passion that you want to do. You combine that. Even if you're working forever and hours, midnight, morning, you don't feel tired because you're passionate about it. Remember that. Remember that. Choose what you're good at. Choose what you want to explore. Choose what you want to be in the future. And of course, seek guidance from your school. All right. So, any other questions? Sorry,
Yeah.
that was so long.
Ma'am, there's a question from the panel.
Okay.
In a graphic designer's perspective,
Yeah.
since you are into that area,
Mhm.
how do you, I believe you have already mentioned this, but I just wanted to give a broad idea to the students who have
Sure.
waiting. I mean, how do you view, say, AR and VR, let's say in the coming years, what changes?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So now, when we look at all these specializations, all right, you always need the skill of a graphic designer to make it beautiful. So a lot sometimes, like for example, if you are a web programmer, a developer, you concentrate on functionality. You concentrate on all these things. You need a graphic designer to be beside you to make things beautiful for your work. Okay. You need to have, it's not only making it beautiful, but making it functional. All right. So um, right now, even in the benchmarking of design, the user interface is very much introduced now. And a lot of the young generation, they're so good. But now, look at this, the design is becoming global. All right. In the past, I used to teach design and I could see it's a little bit cultural. If I say, for example, I'm teaching in the United Arab Emirates, and if I have a student, for example, that I'm mentoring who is from India or from Philippines or from different parts of the world, I can see the design is different from each other. If, for example, because I'm the chief expert in the regional competition, which is the entire Middle East. I was also the deputy chief expert in graphic design. We compete with 39 or 40 different countries, and you can see the cultures of design in their work. Yeah. The future will be your design should be global. Global in the sense that when you create the design, you won't even understand who is behind the programming, who is behind the design. All right. Now, my students, if I compare the work of my students from the time I started teaching here in this country in 2000, year 2000, and the work that they have right now, it's a big, massive difference. So the future of graphic design in this field is very much needed. One. Number two, the design approach will be more global. You won't even see who's behind it. Is it from India? Is it from Philippines? Or is it from Malaysia or Thailand? All right. So this is the move of the graphic design. And what I'm seeing right now, less is more. All right. So if you see even the icons that you look at, everything is very simple, right? If you say Facebook, it's a blue color and you have the icon that is F. It's very, very simple. You have a solid background and a text in it. So the future of design with all the new specialization we have right now will be global. All right, that will be, because I've been involved in judging competitions here and there, involving different countries from Kazakhstan to Russia to India, of course, and a lot of, and let me tell you, by the way, the last World Skills in Kazan, the bronze medalist was from India. And if you see her work, you won't be able to trace, oh, I know this is from India. I can see from the design, the colors, the use of, no, the design now is global. So think about that. For those of you who would like to be in the creative field, you will start by showing maybe your culture, your colors, the things that you see around you, but later on, when you embark in your career, you will see that designs will be more global. Yeah. Any other questions? Sorry. Let me read that. I need my eyes. What about the environmentalists, social working? Yes, of course. These kinds of people are necessary. Yes, of course. All right. So for the social work, okay. Now, let me tell you, the young generation right now, because they're exposed to realities, they're seeing how our environment is. And some of the young ones, they start actually worrying about the environment. Now, if you want to be in that field, that's of course needed. You need to find innovative solutions for your country, for the country where you will be working with. If you will be in India, you will be looking at, don't be a person who will come to the office, 8 o'clock you're in the office, 5 o'clock you leave, and that's it. If you want to be a good environmentalist, come up with innovative solutions for your country. Come up with principles that people can adapt, structures for your country. Of course, that will be needed because you see what is happening right now. There are countries that are not visited by earthquake, for example, or typhoons or storm. But now, you can see flood here and there. In my country, we're used to the typhoon in 1 year, believe it or not, we have a strong typhoon the following day. The people are trying to rebuild their life again. After 3 days, we have another typhoon. And one of the environmentalists who came to the Philippines, they said, we need to plant millions or billions of trees so that we can eradicate all this flooding and all the calamities that we're experiencing. You are much needed, not only for global, but for your country. And similarly, in my country, we have environmentalists who are working day and night and how they can resolve a lot of the calamities that we're having. We're having a lot of floods because people are just cutting trees. For the social work, each of us, we have different aptitude. Aptitude means what we're good at. Some are in the creative field, some are good in numbers, some are very good in human behavior. And for example, caring for others. All right. The social work is a new course as well here in the UAE, because that's very important that you have people in that kind of field. I'm not very knowledgeable with the work of the social work right now and the future of that, but I have seen it from day one. It's needed, and up to now, they are developing a lot of different courses for the social work. Okay, and that's very important, to care for others. Any other questions? Please be quiet. Yes, of course. Now, all the career that whatever you will choose, that will be needed. How you will make a difference, this is what matters. How you make a big difference for what you do, this is what matters. Whether you are a mathematician, all right? You are a mathematician, how do you implement those numbers into a good use, all right? If you are a chemist, for example, how can I be different from others, all right? So you apply innovation, you do a lot of research, you experiment, you come up with solutions. That is needed with the current, work right now. Well, for example, you are a frontliner, or you're a scientist. How can I be different? By the way, we're asking about how can I be different? Research is the key. Now, a lot of you loves to read, do a lot of research. What are the new things that is in the market right now? What are the new things? Where can I fit in? If you're not very sure, always seek the advice of an organization offering, guidance for you, or the school itself. Because, like for example, we have in the higher colleges, we hired several career coordinators. They are specialized in giving, for example, advice to our students. We have guidance counselors that is helping us. So please seek help. don't just be in a career. Like, I'll give you an example. There was a long queue, like 2 to 3 queues, all right? All the students were queuing to enroll in a specific program. Each of the queue, like one is engineering for electrical, the other one is mechanical, one is industrial, all right? So my friend went in a queue and he did not even check what is that queue about. It was for
The
an
subject
engineering
is instructed to stop breathing and has no choice but to obey. Okay, you made your point.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let me continue. She went on a queue for electrical. So when she reached the counter, she said, "This is the specialization for electrical." She said, "Oh my God, this is not really what I want." Luckily, when he pursued it, he was very good in mathematics. All right, he was able to apply that, and he said, "If I was given an advice, I could have been in another field. However, because he has taken electrical, he became a good lecturer in electrical engineering. He took his master's in engineering. He was hired, he traveled to different countries. He went to Malaysia to be a professor in one of the universities. Right now, he's back home. He retired and he said, I fulfilled the dream I have. Although I started with a career that's not really what I want, but he said, I need to make it good because this is what I studied. Because why? During that time, we didn't have organizations like these or schools who would support what a student would like to study. All right. So now you're very lucky because you have, the schools that is helping you to come up with, what you want to do in the future. That's very important. All right, let me see if I have any more questions. Okay. So what are the other things that okay, for medical, I have a nephew who will be studying nuclear medicine. All right. So what is that about? I'm not very sure, but because my brother and my sister-in-law are both doctors, so but the son would like to follow their steps. All right, but not as just a regular doctor. He wants to be in the nuclear medicine. So so choose the career you want. All right. So any other questions before we say goodbye? And remember, for those of you who are in the creative field, I would be happy to provide advice and give you another presentation only for the creatives. All right. So
Any more questions, please?
you can ask. Don't be shy, because you know what? Later on, when you reach 18 years old, you will be choosing your career. You will be making decisions for yourself. So don't be shy. Ask questions. Hassan, do you have a question? Aisha? Well, Zanil, Amal, Nabil had the question. Thank you very much for your question.
Yeah. There's a question from Aisha, which says, ma'am, what do you like most about being an artist?
Oh, I love you, Aisha. I love that question. Okay, what I love most of being an artist, I'm able to actually, I wish I could show you, because a part of my house is like a gallery in here. And I have, okay, being an artist, what I love most is I speak the universal language. I may not understand your language, Manila, but I speak, and I can speak the language you speak through art. I love it because art is universal. I can travel the world and share my work. And I can, what else I can say? The language you speak with colors. You dig out history and put, history into art. It's a communication. It's a big, massive communication. It's endless. That's why I love I love it being an artist. Let me tell you, I was actually sharing it to Dr. Mansoor, as I said, my mom used to bribe me and say, "Look, if you want to be a doctor, I'll buy you this, I give you that," you know. But she knew in my heart I always wanted to be an artist. All right. So I went to different places in the world, sharing my art, sharing what I do, and I love it. The fact that you can change the life of others and inspire them to be an artist, that's one big thing for me. You know, being an art educator or design educator, changing the lives of young minds. I mean, you know, I wish uh, maybe what I could do, I could share some links, you know, when I will have, because I'm preparing for a big exhibition. And not only that, in some of my work, you can see some of the texture of India. So that's why I speak a universal language, which is art. It might be, you can see probably it's all about lines. If you can see, we have the portrait of Sheikh Zayed that's actually showing the tribes that Sheikh Zayed came from. So, you know, you dig out history, you study things that, you know, is not familiar to you. So it's continuous learning as an artist. That's really, I'm so passionate about. Anything else? Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you for that question. And do you have any question? Oh, no, okay. Aisha, thank you, Lee. Thank you for asking because I'm often, I mean, they always ask, you know, so, and not only that, wait, I forgot. Being an artist, you're inspired with a lot of things around you. If you look at these, wait, I'm gonna get it so I can share it to Aisha and to all of you. During the lockdown, can you see this? It's very simple art. During the lockdown, we were asked to wear masks. Yeah. When I came home, I just thrown my mask and this canvas. I painted it with black because I need to paint on it. So I said, oh, when the mask, when I've thrown the mask, it was looking so pretty. And I said, oh, it looks good. So I painted it. So it's painted using pointillism. So you see, whatever you see, you can actually use it as part of your inspiration as an artist. Okay, so anything goes with art. There you go. I can show you more, but yeah.
That's an interesting piece of art.
Yeah, there's always a story in art. So yeah, that's the most wonderful thing when you can talk about it, you can share it, or you don't even need to explain it. Let others look at it and say, oh, okay, I can see this in your work. I can see this in your work. You know, when I open my eyes, I see inspiration. I have a piece of work that I submitted to the New York art. It was inspired by the windows that I see, you know. I mean, if I turn this, you can see some of the paintings I have, and you can see windows outside of my window. I was inspired by that. I painted it. And you can see some of the texture of India there, you know, you can actually share a story on your work.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been a great time with you. I'm sure the children who have attended this session would have benefited, reaped the benefit at its best. We have been fortunate to be with you in this morning. I trust we'll be able to connect again for sure.
Yes, anytime.
Fine. So I believe we have no more questions from the attendees. So probably we are preparing to wind up. I would like to thank you again for being with us and taking time out of your busy schedule. It's been a great time. I also thank all those who have attended the session. I'm sure we'll be coming up with much more interesting topics in the coming days. And trust we'll be able to connect again, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Sure. My pleasure.
Thank you again. Thank you all those who have participated. Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You have a good day, ma'am. Thank you.
Have a good day too, and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.